All right, we're moving on to example number 2. I would still say this is a basic design, but we're going to do better coding, but we're going to be using variables to make modification a lot easier. A very important item that you learn as you start programming more and more, it kind of separates a beginner program to a more intermediate program to a more expert programmer, is the expert programmer is really going to anticipate how that program is going to change in the future. The intermediate person will do some type of understanding of future changes, and the beginner really just trying to get their very first program to actually work. So we're going to start moving towards a more intermediate view. So let's look at our code. And on this code, you're going to see that I start using variables. So these are just simple things that you can do. So one is when we wire up the Arduino, we want to give a name to what it is that we're connecting. So if we go back to our last example, go to the very beginning, you see here I said, okay, we're doing a red LED, a blue LED, a green LED. We know what the red is connected to 4, the blue is connected to 5, the green is connected to 6. But what if we decide we needed to use those wires for another component? So your friend did some programming to, let's say, do a buzzer, and that buzzer was on number 4, and then you're going to put in your lights to that buzzer. Well, we don't want to go back and change the code at every single instance. So let's just say, for example, we need to change blue, and that was where the buzzer was going to be, and now it has to be a number 9. I would have to go through all of this code and look at any time I have a 5, and every time there's a 5, change that to a 9. So there's going to be a lot of chance for an error to occur. So to avoid error, we're going to give all of those wires that we're connecting up a name. So here, when we do the pin mode, we say, okay, the red pin is an output, the blue pin is an output, the green pin is an output, the button is an input. And later, like I said, your friend is using number 5, you need to change this to number 9. That's the change that we're going to make. And it's very quick, easy, not a chance for any mistake to occur. So if we were to look at this code, it's pretty much the same code. But as we start, the other thing I did was I said, we're going to start with blue being the dot, green being the dash. But what if I want to change it later to be red? Well, I'm going to have those be variables. So I can change, let's say I wanted blue to be red. Very quick change I have to do. I just change this to the blue pin, the red pin. The other item I did was the little flashing of how long they're on and off. I decided, okay, I should make that a variable. Here I made that the variable t. Like I said, you want to give it some name. So t is probably like a bad name. I probably should have said like flash time or something like that. So we could just go back and we look at our ID, we're flashing is 0. So I say, okay, turn on whatever color I have for a dash, turn it off. There's a delay for t. Because all of these are variables, I can change what the color needs to be, how long they need to be on in one location at the very top. And this is going to be that we can anticipate later some modifications are going to need to occur. I'm going to need to change how fast I'm doing the Morse code, what colors I want to do for dots and dashes. So these are some of the little items that you want to start looking at, start thinking about as you start writing your code, so that as you start moving from week to week to week, you're not going back and doing a lot of changes. You have just changes at the very top. Okay, so that's going to move us on to our next example.